If someone gave you $1,000 every day to never use a cell phone, what would you do? $1,000 a day is more than enough to never need to work. My wife can have the best phone on the market and take all the pictures. I can use a tablet for apps and social media. Hardest part is telling people family no when they ask you to use their phone to take a selfie, and that's assuming that we have to go that far. If someone asking you to use their phone or help them with something on their phone is acceptable, then there are no issues at all. I'd miss it, but I'd do it. That's retirement and a raise. I'm assuming tablets and assistants are deal breakers and I'd still make it work. I'd have to start carrying books around unless Kindle is cool, in which case Kindle, because I need something to separate myself from the public, and my phone is usually how I do that. If GPS isn't okay, I guess I'd start taking Uber or a cab, because I can't go back to not using GPS either. Is this like permanent, or can I just at any point say okay I'm done and go back to using it? But assuming it's permanent, I'd get a good tablet and put cellular data on it. Sure, it would not be as convenient as a phone, as I couldn't really carry it in my pocket, but I could get a smartwatch and that could connect to the tablet for texts and even possibly phone calls. Also, I'd then save up and update my laptop to a really good one. Anything but use a cell phone. 1 year later I'd be good. After the first day I'd have enough to rent a cheap motel, hostel, anything, and get a gym membership. I'd start reading and exercising and paying off debts, and within a year's time I would hopefully be fit and knowledgeable and have learned a productive skill or two, as well as have a savings. Then off to work or military or something. I essentially only use my phone to keep my occupied at work or to watch a show before bed. So 1K a day would mean I don't need to work and could ditch my cell phone. A tablet would be an alternative if I leave the house and want an emergency option to contact help, but I barely even bring my phone out, so I wouldn't need a tablet for it. But it would be great for nighttime movies, shows. I already have a landline. I hate talking on the cell anyway. I can run the household apps on my tablet, so I would be good. For that amount of money, I could hire a personal assistant to take care of everything when I'm not home and off grid. BTW, could I technically carry a cell phone, and if I use it, just nullify the day's $1,000, or would usage kill the entire deal in the future? I'd fucking do it in a second. I lived long before computers, phones, email, GPS, text, social media, etc. I know how to fucking do without any of it and wouldn't have to work either. Sign me the FK up. I am on my boat fishing at my lake cottage if you need to find me. Then enjoying a beer from the corner store and reading a book. Then eating a salad from my garden. Be pretty happy, less stress from being latched to a phone, less stress from having to deal with money issues. Would be hard to log into the gym, but I could afford a better one. Job would be sad, they couldn't call me 24/7, but I wouldn't need a job. Wife couldn't find me as easy, but she wouldn't need to cause me rich p. I'd be without a cell phone and going to Vegas once a year. Do something besides gamble. I've never been to a Vegas show. I can't imagine Wayne Newton still coming out and singing Bill Bailey. Or the 70th year of the Joe full Elvis impersonators, you know? And gamble of course, and eat prime rib for almost nothing. Never use a cell phone again. I'm not really depending on one, as I'm mainly using it to listen to music and sometimes navigation. Those functions can get easily replaced with other gadgets. The few times I need to look things up I can just ask someone else to do it for me, and WhatsApp etc. runs on my PC as well anyway. Lol. My cell phone essentially pays me to do deliveries, but $7K a week. I'd invest that shit into my electronics collection museum, my car builds and modifications, and eventually help my roommates relocate their houses and have our own property, then build upon that property for our own living situation. I'd hire someone for $300 a day to personally use my phone for me, as I say it when I say it. Like, it's gonna get awkward some nights when I have to whisper to my employee to scroll to the next TikTok while my wife is sleeping beside me. But whatever. I'm not using it and still get $700 a day. Pay someone a couple $100 a day, meals and drinks allowance provided as well, to be my navigator, as that is the only thing I would need my phone for at that point. The only minor inconvenience they would endure is consistently being referred to as first mate wiggles. Not use a cell. Have no thing I ever use on my phone these days is to get Microsoft rewards and listen to in 1 day of not using my cell myself a nice new MP3 player and buy whatever I want on Xbox. Where do I sign up for it? I get to cure an addiction and make $1,000 every day for the rest of my life. Win-win. With that much guaranteed money, I could even quit my job, to be honest. $1,000 a day for the rest of my life is way more than I need to live. As usual, that's way too much fucking money. I could pay someone an excellent wage to be my secretary and still have plenty left over. Instead, the more interesting question would be, what's the smallest amount of money you'd give up for phone for? I'd quit my job and never touch another cell phone for the rest of my life, obviously. All these questions of I'll give $1/3 of $1 million every year, but you have to only poop in toilets for the rest of your life are getting really stupid. I would accept, but it would be cheating. I do not have, and will never have, a cell phone. I hate the fucking things. I know how addictive they are. I have studied the serious social damage they cause, almost as bad as television. Have conversations in person or by letter, fuck a landline, write a book instead of sharing bits and pieces of my thoughts on social media, and move to a beautiful rural area. I'd at least keep it up for a year to secure $365,000. Never use one. I didn't have one up until a couple years ago, and I only got it because I needed it for work. I turn it on when I come into work, and turn it off when I leave. So I'd be perfectly okay with never using one. 1. You wanted to call me via phone number? You're out of luck. 2. I'd carry around a tablet with a data plan in my bag in case someone needed to message me. 3. Enjoy the distraction-reduced lifestyle and the $365,000 every year. Easy, like others have said, just get a tablet with a SIM card tray and done. Also, everything connects to the internet now, so there's always a way to connect to others. I mean, even my fridge connects to the internet, FFS lol. Go back to using a landline. I rarely take calls on my cell anyway, and I have a tablet I can use out and about as long I can get on public Wi-Fi, which is pretty much in more places than cell coverage these days anyway. Hire someone for $5,100 a day to do what I'd usually need to do via cell phone for work, otherwise get a landline if that's not considered a cop-out. Live a good life with the remaining $900,950 per day. I mean, look. The only people that call me anymore is my dentist, so sure, why not? They can just start emailing, or I could use an app on a tablet or a computer. Whatever, so sure, why not? That's a lot of money. Define cell phone? I could just get a cellular iPad mini, right? Or just use a cellular Apple Watch. It'll be a pain in the ass, but it'll do. Or I can just use the Apple ecosystem with message forwarding. Count me in. I used to live in a place with no Wi-Fi and a really crappy mobile signal, meaning it barely worked for data. Give me a landline and a book anyway. Give me my $365,000 PA now. Thanks very much. I only ever got a cell phone for work in the first place. For $1,000 a day I'll never need to work again, so I guess my cell phone can just go in the garbage and I'll be chillin' on a beach somewhere. I'd be overjoyed that I never have to work again a day in my life. I'd spend a lot more time using internet the old-fashioned way at a computer. I'd also get a landline. Easiest sacrifice ever. Pay somebody $500 a day to be my personal assistant and make any calls. I'd also buy a tablet with a SIM card so I could use WhatsApp on it, as most of my messaging is through that anyway. Yep, just get a tablet that has full standalone internet access and use any kind of app for communication purposes, be it voice or otherwise. Then enjoy my new super simple $365,000 a year job, smiley face. I'd buy an iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad and Mac and have them all synced by someone else. I'd never touch the iPhone but could use all other three to make calls, send texts and check whatever I need to. I'd be incredibly paranoid about how they are going to know if I'm using one or not and what their actual endgame is. But I hardly ever use my phone and like money. So, I'd likely accept. I would buy a nice $2,000 gaming laptop and a tablet for portability. Next, I'd set up VoIP to communicate. Skype charges $2 a month for unlimited calling to mobile or landline phones. $1,000 a day? Buy a Starlink portable, install in a badass van and use VoIP if I needed it. After a few weeks of $1,000 a day I can afford to hire someone to drive the van for me. I would carefully consider the offer due to the financial benefits, but I'd also weigh the significant drawbacks, particularly the impact on communication and professional life. Tablet for social media and important stuff. Smartwatch takes care of music and workout tracking. Getting paid to not use a phone would be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Not use a cell phone. Get a landline and a pager, and go old school. For $365,000 a year I'll adapt the same way I did when I was a kid. Also, is a satellite phone a cell phone? Throw the bitch in the garbage and never look back. Bonus points. Now the spam callers and bill collectors are really going to have a time getting a hold of me. I don't think you thought it well when you typed cell phone. Nowadays there are many ways to communicate and probably everyone would ditch the cell phone for 1K per day. Could I get $5,000 per month for not using my phone 5 days out of the month? That would be ideal, but if I need to not use it every day it would be a challenge. I ditch my phone and buy a handheld computer that can make phone call. People might call it another phone, but I call it PDA, personal digital assistant. Like everyone else, get a tablet, a VoIP number, use a third-party messaging app like WhatsApp and proceed to not have to work a full-time job ever again. I will do it and skip to the bank every week. Dudes, that's $52,000 a year. On top of my current salary. A good donation to my retirement fund. Do it! Immediately buy a 5G tablet because it is not a phone but has the same capability, and subscribe to unlimited data because now I have $1,000 a day. Take the money and run! Cell phones are a semi-necessary evil, but for a $1,000 a week I would toss it in the trash faster than Nolan Ryan on opening day. Have $360,000 more income than when I was in college back in the day with no cell phone and just use Google Voice on the smallest tablet I can find. Take the money and use it anyway. This person doesn't live with me, they don't know what I'm doing. I just won't use it for texting or phone calls. I will never use a cell phone. I could just use my laptop or go to the library if I need internet access, and get a landline for calls and such. First question: can I loophole it? iPad instead of iPhone? If yes, do that. If no, I guess carry a laptop? I'm definitely doing it either way. I would take them up on the offer and chill with an iPad. If Apple wasn't so fixed on the watch needing a phone, I would probably ditch the phone.